Alrighty guys, welcome back to Star Wars Review. Today I'm reviewing The Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 11, Metamorphosis, which was directed by Saul Ruiz and written by Sabir Pirzada, which was released on March 1st, 2023, which I thought was a great episode. It finally picks up on the Mount Tantus tease at the end of Season 1, which was nice to finally see. And even though I've enjoyed this season a good bit, I have been wondering when this plotline would be picked back up. So I'm happy to see it finally now being continued. But the episode also continues the plot from the Clone Wars with the return of the Zillo Beast, which this episode should have been called Return of the Zillo Beast, as the second Zillo Beast episode from the Clone Wars was titled The Zillo Beast Strikes Back. So, it would have made sense, but the name Metamorphosis is better and fits what happens to the Zillo Beast throughout the episode. But I believe in the episodes of the Clone Wars, Palpatine had kept the Zillo Beast, wanted to clone it after it died, which is this episode is kind of about that. At the start of it, we see the ship is transporting a creature. We don't see it, but throughout the events of the episode, we do learn that's what's going on. But it's gotten loose and is taking out the crew, which we see it take out this clone commando. But we then see back on Mount Tantus, where another similar looking ship to the one from the start is heading towards the mountain. But they land and we get introduced to a new character, seemingly a new main villain named Dr. Hemlock, who we see him head inside and go to a cell holding Nala Se, which Hemlock is trying to convince Nala Se to work with the Empire instead of refusing to do so. And his attempt here is unsuccessful, but Hemlock's assistant comes and tells him that they've lost contact with the other transport vessel, which he just tells her to go get a recovery team to find and whatnot. But he also asks if there's any other Kaminoans were taken off Kamino before the destruction of Tapoka City, which he says Lama Su, which was pretty sure they killed them in Season 1, but I guess not. They just took him, and now he's like prisoner on Coruscant. But Hemlock asks his assistant to bring Lama Su to Tantus so he can speak with them. But it then cuts over to the Bad Batch, who are in the Marauder talking to Sid over hologram, and they are not happy with Sid for abandoning them when they needed help, which Sid is like, you got off planet with your ship, so you should be good. But she then just instantly mentions that she got a tip on a crashed cargo ship, which means they can scavenge it. And she says she'll give them 30% of the cut, which Tech points out that's their normal cut, which is like fine, 35%, which we see Hunter haggle with her all the way up to 50%. And, I like this moment. Every single new percentage she says, we see Wrecker's facial expressions like, oh yeah, that's good, but then he looks back to Hunter each time, and he's just kind of angrily staring at Sid, and then he's like, oh okay, he's just like, Wrecker's just so amused with Hunter's haggling. That was a funny little moment, and not even a blatantly moment, kind of a little more subtle, you might not catch it. But Sid then says she'll give them the coordinates and to not come back unless they can scavenge something valuable, which Hunter responds by saying, what makes you think we're coming back? Which Sid responds by saying not to test her and to get the job done, which she then hangs up. But I love seeing Hunter this way, kind of on his last leg with Sid, which there's some more stuff later in the episode with Hunter I do want to talk about, but which I'll talk about that later, kind of more relating to this moment. But after the conversation with Sid, Tech says that severing ties with Sid would be, kind of hard because of everything she knows about them, and it'll be best for them just to do this one last job and kind of at least end on a better note, which Hunter says there isn't much intel for the job, only the coordinates, so he's a little hesitant on it, but decides to do so, which they then head to the planet where the crashed ship is. I don't think we got a name for it, but they note that there is a village nearby, which will come back later in the episode. But They land and go to the crashed ship and go inside and find no signs of any crew members. Wrecker does find that stun baton the clone commando had at the start of the episode. But they do find signs of some sort of a creature maybe attacking in the ship because there's a bunch of claw marks on the walls and whatnot. Which Tech says he'll go to the bridge and restore the power and try to find any data on what the ship is and whatnot. Which Omega is concerned that he's going by himself, but Tech says he'll be fine. Which we see him get to the bridge and where he starts to restore the power, while the others go deeper into the ship and find this lab, which Omega points out that it's a Kaminoan lab, but it doesn't look like the cloning tech she saw in Taboka City, which Hunter calls up Tech to see how he's doing, which he says the power should be coming on any second, but he then hears something, which he goes and investigates, and it turns out just to be a droid who just says danger over and over again, while Tech tries to get answers from the droid. But we see the others looking around that lab, wondering, what they had on board, which they finally run into the Zello Beast, which they try to kind of just back away and get out of there, but it comes after them, so they have to shoot it, which it then runs away. But Tech finally fully gets the power on, and the Zello Beast is coming his way, so Hunter calls him up telling him that, but Hunter, Wrecker, and Omega then run into the Zello Beast in some hallway, feeding off all this energy that's surrounding it, which it's bigger than it was before, which Wrecker points out. But Tech gets to the other side of that hallway, which I like this moment. He was more fascinated by it than concerned, so I like that. But he tells the others to take cover, and he shoots the energy thingy the Zello Beast was feeding on, which just blows a hole in the ship, freeing the Zello Beast, which it then heads for that village. So Hunter and Wrecker head to the Marauder to find it, while Tech and Omega go back into the ship to find any info on it, which they currently don't know what it is. They don't know that it's the Zello Beast, but Hunter and Wrecker kind of fail to take it out, which it then heads to a power plant where it starts to feed on even more energy, which Tech and Omega start finding info on it, which Tech finds out that they're trying to clone it to use its genetic material to make armor, and because when they're shooting it earlier, it wasn't doing anything to it, so blaster-proof armor, which I think we pretty much knew that from the Clone Wars. But Tech also figures out that it feeds on energy, and when it does, it makes it even bigger, which Tech then calls up Hunter, telling him that to not let it get to the power grid, which is when Hunter finally finds it at the power grid, way bigger than before, which he just tells Tech that it's too late for that, which we then see the Empire arrive, and comes down and goes after the Marauder, which the Marauder kind of has to, they're getting chased by a few gunships and whatnot, but Hunter tells Omega and Tech to kind of get out of there, which Tech is wanting to stay to collect more info, but Omega forces him to go. But we see the Empire come down and round up a bunch of the villagers and whatnot, and kind of subdue the Zello Beast and capture it. But Hunter and the Marauder picks up Tech and Omega, and then they fly off and escape. While we see the Empire, like I said, round up those the villagers. It's a bunch of clone commandos, and the one is Scorch, who I think we saw in season 1 of the Bad Batch, but he was most notably appears in the now Legends video game Republic Commando. They also get the Zello Beast into that ship and put into this tank thingy, where they then take it back to Mount Tantus. But we see back on the Marauder where Tech is kind of going over the data he collected with Hunter about how the Empire is cloning the Zello Beast and whatnot, which Tech also says that they didn't destroy Kamino to end cloning, but to control it. At least, I think he's more theorizing there, but it is the truth. But they also don't know where they're taking the Zello Beast. Tech couldn't find any info on that from the ship, which Hunter tells Tech to send the data to Echo and Rex to see what they can figure out about it. Which, earlier in the episode, Hunter was kind of on his last leg with Sid, which now we're kind of seeing him kind of maybe think Echo was right earlier and realize that the Empire is a bigger threat than he might have realized, I guess. But the episode ends back on Mount Tantus, where Dr. Hemlock waits for Lamassu. Before that, we do see him get told by his assistant that they captured the Zilla Beast and whatnot, and then later told by Scorch that they've rounded up all the villagers, but that a military vessel had fled the scene, which Hemlock tells him to figure out who that was. But he then speaks with Lamassu, who's arrived, who tells Hemlock the way to control Nala Se is with this clone girl, referring to Omega. And the episode ends with Hemlock telling Lamassu that they have much to discuss. So yeah, like I said, I really like this episode. I love that they finally got back to Mount Tantus. But also, the Zilla Beast returning was great to see it again after such a long time. After the plot threads kind of left hanging with the Clone Wars. But also this episode was a big one for Hunter, who kind of finally starts to see that hanging with Sid probably isn't the best. And like I said, Echo was kind of right in that they need to fight the Empire. So I'm very excited to see where everything goes in these final episodes of this season. Also interested in this Hemlock character. I don't know if he's going to be the main villain now. I'm guessing probably done with, Rampart in this series, which is definitely interesting. As the Hemlock and Rampart, they feel kind of similar-ish. They're kind of like calmer seeming villains. So they do seem similar. Obviously, Hemlock seems like a scientist more than a just Imperial officer, soldier-like person like Rampart was. So yeah, but I really love this episode. My grade, I'm gonna give it an A. So yeah, but the next episode, episode 12 of The Outpost, that's already out when this review should be going up. So I should have a review for that one out soon. Also, so you check that out then. But in the meantime, you check out all my other Bad Batch reviews and everything else I do. But I've been Stars, I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Huh? Hello. How juicy.
The Empire's growing stronger. We should be doing more.
You want to really be free? Then pull off this heist, and you can have a future.
Rumors are more and more clones